Gamers, welcome. I know. It's been a hot minute since I went back to my boy Harman Smith. I missed him. I'll admit it. I need to inject his videos like right into my veins right now. Uh, so it's been a while since we last checked up on our boy Harman. Uh, and he made a few statements that are I don't even know. The Nintendo GameCube is more popular than the PS2 and Xbox? Okay, let's hear him out. Let's see why it's better
I
or
think
more
it's really
popular.
interesting how people are beginning to notice that the Nintendo
hmm
GameCube is far more popular today than either the PS2 or Xbox. When
People are starting to realize, meaning there's more. Who?
growing up, we were
Who?
told over and over again the GameCube is underperforming, it's not very popular, no one likes it. And yet, when you actually look at what's
Mm,
happening now, how Super Smash Bros. Melee is one of the defining games of that generation, when
mm,
you look at just how much, like, so much iconic Nintendo
uh-huh.
iconography came from that console, and how that thing is still being played today, right? How it introduced Animal Crossing to the Western world, which is now one of Nintendo's biggest IPs.
I don't think he gets the point. It's not that Nintendo doesn't have peak games, because everyone sort of acknowledges that, right? Like everyone knows that Nintendo constantly, aside from Pokemon, pushes out some of the greatest games ever. Uh, when I said Pokemon, I mean Sword and Shield is when they started getting bad for me. I don't like it. I can't stand it. Uh, but I don't think he's getting the idea. It's not that the games aren't good. Everyone acknowledges GameCube games are peak. Super Mario Sunshine. There was, as he said, Animal Crossing, Wind Waker, well, one of my probably top three Zelda games, and what was the other? Melee. Yeah, those were all peak. Everyone can acknowledge that. Now I have something pulled up. The GameCube is factually not more popular than the PS2 and Xbox. It's just not. It's not even a contest here. PS2 sales. Mm. Oh, oh, more than 150 million units sold. Xbox sold 24 million. 22 million for GameCube. Yeah, it's just like you know, no one's denying that the games aren't good. Everyone knows they are. But pop off, Harmon. Let's continue.
Right? When you really look at what this console did, there is no denying that it was far more popular and successful than the PS2.
Okay, it
What
wasn't more
people don't
successful.
understand is that the PS2 success was entirely astroturfed. It was sold to you by game journals, you played it a handful of times, and
Okay, but it still sold like 100 million more units, right? Like, okay, yeah. Okay, whatever. They sold more. It is factually more popular. It's crazy.
then you went back to playing Super Smash Bros. Melee, or Mario Party, or Luigi's Mansion, or Pikmin, or Animal Crossing, or
Mm,
Super Mario Sunshine, or The Legend of Zelda: The Wind
mm,
Waker, or Wave Race Blue Storm, or Zero GX. Right? The
yeah,
GameCube had better games than the PS2. And as a result of that,
that's
people
an
kept
opinion.
playing it,
No
not
comment.
only throughout that generation, but all throughout the Wii and the Wii U generation.
Dude, that's just because they keep on porting it. I guess. Like Wind Waker HD, all GameCube games were playable on the Wii, which was a nice touch. Thank you, Nintendo, for backwards compatibility. But I don't know. It's like What's your point, Harman?
even today.
Yeah.
That was the common meme that I remember back when the Wii came out was that like, oh, the Wii itself is terrible, but at least it has backwards compatibility. Wait a minute. Are you acknowledging the GameCube was a good console? Right? Are you
It
acknowledging
is.
the GameCube was good?
A lot of
The
people
Wii
agreed that a lot of people know the GameCube is good. No one's saying it isn't. And as for the Wii, like I don't know. I didn't have that many issues with the Wii growing up. Uh, but it was like, you know, it's kind of underpowered, yes, but the quality of games made up for it. Okay, well, not quality. I'm not gonna say quality for all Wii games. Most of them were slop. Uh, but you know what I mean. Nintendo's first party games all peak, all.
the Wii generation is really interesting because GameCube games kept floating around for another 6 years after that, right? You know, the secondhand market, everybody I knew like played a lot of GameCube games
Mhm.
on the Wii. I use my backwards compatibility on the Wii a lot, and as a result of that, these games remained very relevant and very popular. And as a result of that,
Mhm.
that success and popularity not only carried its way into the Wii generation, but well into the future. People kept playing these games for years after the fact. You can't
Okay, counter argument. uh, the Crash Bandicoot games, PS2. Uh, remade and ported to basically everything after that, right? Like the Crash trilogy is on like Switch and shit. Like, bruh. I don't really know if that counts.
say that about the major PS2 games. You can't say that about the annual sports games. You
Mhm.
can't say that about God of War or Jack and Daxter or
You can.
Ratchet and
Well, can you for God of War? I know the uh remake and Ragnarok uh are multi-platform. Not too sure about the older God of War games. I do know that PS2 games were backwards compatible with PS3. Or you know what I mean, but the PS3 could play PS2 games. For some reason they stopped that with the 4 and that kind of pissed me off a little. But yeah, I don't know.
Clank, right? They have like dedicated niche followings of like maybe a couple of thousand people, right? But the real gamers, people who are actually
Gamers.
interested in playing
Hmm.
video games, who actually experience like all sorts of different genres and experiences, they all overwhelmingly prefer Nintendo. And even today, you can kind of see that with the PC gaming community, how they always try to bring things back to Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Dingaling, because when you get
Hilton Dingling. Oh my god, dude, I love Harmon. He's such a goofball. Um, actually, PC gamers tend to. I don't know. The PC is also really good for emulation. Uh, it's not primarily like the bigger games like Baldur's Gate and Elden Ring that are played on PC. I mean, maybe Baldur's Gate, but not Elden Ring. I think that one's played more on consoles, like the Xbox and PlayStation, right? I would assume so. But games like Baldur's Gate do strike me more of a PC player base kind of thing. But I don't know. I I don't
right down
get this
to it,
argument.
they have absolutely nothing else to play.
No.
Again, it's shocking how in this year, 2024, right? How
In
just how
this
much
year,
variety we get in the Nintendo Switch lineup in a year that's supposedly on the downturn, right? You know, Prince
what games came out this year on Nintendo? I can't name one. I actually can't. I couldn't tell you what Nintendo games came out this year. To be honest, I think that's for the best. They would probably sell at a loss because everyone knows that the Switch 2 is coming out next year or something along those lines.
Princess Peach Showtime, Unicorn Overlord, Super Monkey Ball, Zelda, Mario and Luigi, right? Mario Party Jamboree, right? Like all of these games are coming out, and all of them are going to be super successful
All
and
16
popular, and
bucks
will be
will
for a
never
long
go on
time,
sale.
just like the
Uh,
GameCube, just like the Wii U. In fact, the Wii U is another example of just
you are not going to
of
say the Wii U is popular. You are not going to.
how this console, which was supposedly a bomb,
It
has
was.
far outstripped what anybody could
it
have
was.
expected
It
from it,
was a
right?
flop.
Mario,
It was a major flop. It was the biggest flop I've ever seen. Dude, even Nintendo acknowledges that the Wii U sucked. They prefer to just pretend it never happened. The Wii U sucked ass. Oh my god.
Kart 8 is now one of the best selling games of all time
On the Switch.
because the game was never limited to that
It was
piece
like
of
the one
hardware.
game on the Wii
They
U.
simply re released the game on Switch and sold like 60 million units. Okay, just like
It
they
was
did with
also
New
bundled with
Super
the
Mario Bros.
console.
U and Captain Toad, and just like a
Okay, you know
bunch of
what?
other Wii U games, is that they got ported to Switch.
Dude, he's just spitting straight. I don't even know. So we're gonna move on to another video. Here, I got this one pulled up here. I'm not gonna watch this. But look at this. This was made 5 days ago compared to the one made today. What? What? Dude, this like lives rent free in his head. So here. Why is he talking about Final Fantasy V, by the way? Well, Final Fantasy V is somewhat disappointed. Is somewhat disappointing. It came out like 30 years ago. Uh, turns out it's not that good. Overhyped.
I feel like I've put enough time into Final Fantasy V now to properly review it. I got to like the final world, right? Xstats world, like the combined worlds of like World 1 and 2, and it's one of those things where I'm just
Man, what year did this game come out? You're not doing a retrospective. You're. Dude, I'm telling you, I don't get it. I fucking don't. I
like
really, really don't.
it doesn't quite feel like a big waste of time, right? Not quite, but it comes really close. Like I play Final
Yeah,
Fantasy for
you
like the
played it.
intricate plot and the characters, and to see such a poorly handled, like conceived plot that
Mhm,
just introduces elements and then just drops them is
mhm.
just baffling to me, right? Like again, when your character shows up in the
Okay, so he's actually reviewing a game from like 30 years ago. Time Crisis 2 is pretty good. Fortnite. Dude, he only uses the Switch. Fortnite on the Switch ain't it. Pikmin 4? So I saw this video and I immediately thought he had character development. I'm telling you, this might be the first, the only one, the single video on his channel just shitting on something Nintendo. And I was like, I gotta watch this. I need to. I crave it. I need to see this.
Pikmin 4 was bad. It's been a year
Yeah.
since release now, and I haven't felt the urge to go back and replay it at all. I've gone back to Tears of the Kingdom. I've been itching to go back to Super Mario Bros. Wonder again, but I haven't even really thought about
Hmm.
Pikmin 4 since I finished it, and there's a good reason for that. The game is not very good, right? It was a disappointment. Now,
Yeah.
I've said that the game is good in the past, but that was in comparison to absolute slop like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3. When it comes to like
Baldur's Gate
actually
3.
good Nintendo games, the stuff that like Pikmin 4 is actually competing against, it comes off as
Baldur's
like
Gate
a
3.
huge, massive disappointment, right? And I
Didn't people
felt
praise it?
when Pikmin 4 first came out that most people were not willing to come out and admit that this game was disappointing, right? There were a lot of reasons for this. We waited a decade for this. There was the hype cycle, right?
Hmm.
I imagine a lot of
It
people
was
didn't
a
get
very
through
long
the
wait.
game. And like, of course, like typical like fanboyism, right? uh, People were not willing to address
Uh
the
huh.
very real problems with Pikmin 4, right? The casualized gameplay, the Pikmin 2 structure,
Uh huh.
right? The lackluster map design, the limited AI,
Dude, he's actually hating on something that's Nintendo. Are you guys seeing this? This is crazy. This is
right?
generational.
Like Pikmin 4, the unnecessary
Dude, I'm
Rubit,
getting the
like
like. Oh my
there
god.
is so much about Pikmin 4 that was just
Oh!
awful
Yeah.
that
Sorry, guys, I hit
it
my mic.
makes my expectations of the franchise like very low going forward. Like
Dude, my
I
mouth
can't
is like wide
imagine
open,
that
jaw
a new
on the
Pikmin game
floor.
would be in any kind of an improvement considering just how well this game sold, how popular it was, and just how nobody dared to address like the very real issues with this game day one.
Mm.
Right? Like there
Mm-hmm.
this was a time
Pop off,
where
Harman. Pop
people
off.
really needed to come out
They hate on
and
this Nintendo
address
game.
that this game was
Holy
not good,
shit.
right?
He
This
did
was a
it.
time when
He did
people
it.
needed
He
to
broke the
address that
cycle,
Nintendo
guys. Oh my
made a
god.
very rare, once in a blue moon mistake, and nobody did that.
So, can we also talk about how he was praising this stupid ass Peach game? Can we say that was like better than Doom Eternal? Can we talk about that? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna end it off here. So I hope you all enjoyed, and yeah, have a great day, great night, and see you all next time.